Welcome back to the Make It in Action podcast. This episode is sponsored by G Fuel. G Fuel, powderly delicious. Powderly doesn't work there. I should have went with something else, but 10 episodes in, we didn't crush it one time. But G Fuel, get percentage off with code MCA at gfuel.com. That is MCA at gfuel.com. If you're buying the cherry limeade, if you're buying the Paul, give me another one. Phaseberry.
Nemesis tea.
Strawberry
shortcake.
Strawberry shortcake. If you're jamming some of these into some stockings, because no, we don't put stuff in stockings. Santa does that, right, guys? Right, everyone? Right. Yeah. If you're getting it for somebody around this holiday season, it's a great gift. A lot of gamers out there, a lot of people have time off and they need a little boost. gfuel.com.
Yeah. Hey, you listening, vacuuming right now. Order some G Fuel.
Order some G Fuel.
There's a shot in the
side of the the side of the AirPods.
Yeah.
Right.
Siri,
put it on pause. Go get some G Fuel.
Exactly.
There you go. What up, Paul? Hi, Paul. Paul's here, by the way.
Hey, I'm here. Paul. Hi, I'm Action Jackson. I'm a co-host.
A
lot of things apparently. So
you are a co-host of a lot of things. We'll get into that in a bit because I want to talk about some stuff today. But before we get into that, let's give the listeners a little heads up on what is happening here with the show. People may be like, "What? There was no episode last week. I don't know why we all have 5 voices now. This is the worst. How am I going to get to my job now?" I don't know why I just decided to make fun of all of you. Like I was just, I don't know why. We appreciate you though. But there are some changes, as you can see by the title. There are some changes that we are looking to make to the show in the future for the better. We believe. And in the past, we've been, if you've been a long-time listener, which a lot of you are, and we want to thank you, first of all, as we get here to the end of the year, it's another year closing. We've done a bunch of episodes again. We've gotten way past that 13 episode threshold that I was joking about early in the advent of this show. And it's been almost 2 years now. So we've been doing this for a long time, and we've been kind of slowly phasing things in and out from the fast food question to the interviewing people and how we're going to do that. And we've realized over the years that our favorite thing to do is kind of just shoot the breeze, shoot the shit, if you will, and talk about things that are relevant to us. And we don't, when we stream and we play games together, we usually just get straight into the game and we don't really get to just talk
just vibe
about anything.
It's like just chatting 2.0 over here.
It is like just chatting. And it's funny because all the other podcasts of the people that we know are generally that.
Exactly.
And I'm going to be honest, this is kind of the thing that you and I, we spend a lot of time just chatting on our streams. We sometimes we're like, ugh, we'll get into the game. And there's days like that. And we're, as we get older, there's more things that we want to talk about. Paul likes to talk about smoking. Meat, that is, smoking meat, using a smoker to cook.
That is.
Cooking via smoker. That is a topic of interest for you. I went on a tirade the other day about music theory because I was relearning it because I wanted to start making stuff again.
Ooh,
and I realized after explaining it to somebody that I actually knew a lot more than I thought. So things like that. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to get in here and just be like, all right, here's a bunch of random subjects. But it's going to be a little bit less focused around, bringing in someone out from the outside and learning all about them. Though that is going to be an element. We would love to. We're going to keep having guests on, but we don't see it being the center of the format anymore as much as it will be us and giving our input or maybe enlightening you on some certain things that are happening out in the content creation world or in our orbits, because we. You're doing a lot of shows. You're doing the Crown Channel show. I saw that it was episode 18 of season 2 the other day, which you've been doing a lot of those.
Yes.
Which is, awesome. But as I can imagine, a lot of work and takes away from being able to be streaming 6 days a week, as I am also doing some stuff that is pre-recorded now more and not streaming as much behind the scenes doing stuff behind the scenes, not being live.
Transitioning.
So we're transitioning.
Moves.
It's weird. Ever since we had Khalif Adams on the show, I feel like he used the word aging out. And then as soon as we used that phrase, we were like, okay, what are we doing now?
Yep.
Time to transition. Pop, pop, beep, pop. So
aging out big time.
So we thought we would take today and it's not like an quote unquote official transition day. We just thought we would, kind of go for it today and start to touch on a lot of things. We're give you a taste of what is going to happen here in the future. And though guests will still come in, they're definitely going to be like more of a third host than an interviewee,
which I'm excited about. That'll be fun.
I think that will be fun too, because I feel like this is one of the best things we do on our banter and stuff with our friends when we're playing with them on stream is like one of our strengths. I feel
exactly. We could have, and that could even open the door to having multiple guests multiple times.
Yeah.
So like if we're cool with having like we could have like Eli on several times and just like don't need to like get your life story necessarily, but we just want to shoot the shit and talk with you, and you're gonna be a part of that.
Catch up with you and then maybe they can bring their own subjects that they would like to talk about. Because what else has happened to us a lot of the show, especially with the people who are really into it, really into the interview, they like stop us and ask us a question. Like that has happened a lot. You realize now I'm thinking about it. It's every other episode that happens. Like, well, I want to know about this thing, and then we're like, wow, no one's ever asked us that. We should actually make more time for this opportunity, right? So that's true. That's our vision. A little bit less rigid, a little more like off the cuff, open format, fluid. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So that's kind of what we're trying to do, and I think that a good way to start is and I'm being pinged by PM more current events too. So we would love to touch on like, here's a prime way to do it, right? Let's give an example here. This week, both Paul and I are, as a lot of you guys know, we stream and we do YouTube, and we have to like pick what content we would like to do that both is fun,
exactly,
and also satisfying or fun to watch for the people that are it's us. And this past week, Halo released the campaign, and it's full. So it's it was released before, but only the multiplayer and stuff. So the full game's now out.
Beta multiplayer, full game's out now.
So the whole full Halo campaign,
Call of Duty,
Call of Duty's brand new map, which is the first time they've done it fully.
Yep.
Fortnite's like, oh yeah, by the way, chapter 3, where we're gonna put in a gun that suddenly hit scan with no bloom, and we're also gonna put in sliding and the new map and the rock.
Which, when you put in the rock in your game, that's the ceiling. I think who are you gonna put in there?
Yeah, where are we going? Where do you go above
that? Where do you go from there? I think that's it.
The Rock, man. He has just like inserted himself into every part of our lives,
and I'm okay with it. Like, I'm not bothered by it. I don't know. That doesn't,
because he's just objectively likable, and he's objectively cool, and he's just, every single person who's ever met him is like, he's super nice and great to work with, and he's jacked and he's disciplined, and he's like, literally, you're like, oh, I want to get in shape. Who's a good role model? The Rock. Oh, I want to learn to act. Who's someone who like learned acting later in their life? The Rock. Who's like teaching themselves how to sing and rap? The Rock.
Yeah, who's like exhibiting self-care and being very aware of like their diet and how they're viewed. The Rock. Being very transparent. So like, love it.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know how he does all this stuff. I'm sure, like, by the way, just so you guys know, The Rock probably has days where like, man, I don't want to do anything today. So
of course,
don't kid yourself thinking he's perfect, because he's probably not. We just don't see that part.
So Fortnite had that, and then 2042 Battlefield obviously has been out for like a month now, maybe
3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks, I think.
3 weeks. Yeah. So I feel like that's fairly new. It's just been it's the holiday avalanche. There is the summer drought, and then fall harvest comes in, and we harvest all these games, and it's just like overwhelming. So yeah, it's been nice, but it's overwhelming. I've been playing all of them.
Actually,
Fortnite.
Minecraft did a full scale release of 118 literally a week ago too. Yes, and that was huge, because they just like literally changed like mining mechanic, like how you get materials in vanilla. Like if you just play a normal server, it's it's completely different now. So like these people have these routines, thousands of hours plugged into their heads. Like, this is the level you go to get this. This is like, it's where it all changed. And so now they have to remember all this new stuff. Which, of course, what did I do? I popped right back in. We got the community server going, where I want to do a bunch of community events and creativity stuff. I mean, does it surprise you one bit that I'm like, yeah, dude, I have ton of ideas. What's a game that you can pretty much execute any idea at all if you
True.
want?
The greatest sandbox there ever was.
It's the
Just
greatest
about.
sandbox ever made. And a lot of people would argue that Roblox is up there now too. But Roblox is kind of more of a platform, I feel like, than a
Ooh.
actual sandbox game.
Yeah.
I actually don't really know that much, so I might be talking out of my keister. But yeah,
All I know is I played with my nephews Roblox for like an hour, and I was like, I've got to stop.
really,
They were fascinating. Yeah, how they fit together, the different it was like you could like put a different head on a different thing and like make fun stuff. It was wild.
oh my gosh, PM said Roblox is transitioning into the metaverse.
What?
So many people don't know what the hell that means, and it actually sounds terrifying, but in reality, just like moving something into blockchain is not that crazy. Like everything is going to be the underlying technology changing is going to happen everywhere.
I feel like I don't have a problem with the metaverse in like an idea like Second Life or any of these kind of other like metaverse, because metaverse isn't like a hard definition for anything.
No,
it's kind of a very vague generality. But the fact that Facebook, who is now Meta, is driving this and like trying to be on the forefront of it is the thing that makes me upset about it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that bothers me. It's not even like the
someone
metaverse
else
is an
tried
idea.
this. Yeah.
It's Facebook doing it. And I'm like, ah.
So now I want, like you find yourself immediately not wanting anything to do with it.
Exactly.
And I mean, what their role is going to be, like, did they attach the word meta to the metaverse? The metaverse is such a weird. Everyone's like, what? Like Spider-Man? And you're like, actually, that's the concept. The name is based off of. There being a bunch of different ways to connect. Like
multi. You're thinking of multiverse.
Well, okay. The multiverse and the metaverse are like they're different things, but you got to think of it from a standpoint of like concepts of things interacting with each other in new and exciting ways with the blockchain is kind of the
pretty
gist.
Much. Like experts don't even agree on what it means
because it hasn't been developed to a point yet. Just like in 2000 we had the web 1.0 in the bubble, like that's how Mark Cuban made all his money. A lot of people don't know that. Pets.com. He had pets.com and then he sold it for an insane amount of money and then the market crashed. And that was web 1.0. That was just the internet being the internet and being, computers are connected to each other and this is a very efficient way to do things. And then the 2.0 was apps and iPhone. So like then we had smartphones kind of become connected to the internet, and then everyone carried one on their hip, and that was 2.0. That was invented like around 06 and became huge in 8, 9, and 10. And that was also the collapse of the economy. But they weren't necessarily super connected, but they were kind of connected.
Yeah.
And 3.0 is supposed to be blockchain. So
blockchain.
Currency like crypto is just one part of the thing that can be done for blockchain. But it's obviously money runs everything, so it's a big part.
That would make sense because I'm always very curious about these. Like my initial thought of when someone's like, "Oh yeah, we're selling fashion items on the metaverse," or like when I'm selling these items on, what was the Decentraland is a big, like obviously their whole metaverse, like crypto, whatever. I'm not gonna say anything more on it because I feel like I'll sound stupid if I try to explain it. So when they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna buy this land," quote unquote, and then sell items on it. Like it's like they're buying Manhattan. Like if it was like the 1600s, and they're like, we're gonna buy Manhattan or whatever the heck, the island, and place all their shops on there. I never understood how that has intrinsic value because it's like if you bought a pair of jeans in New York City, but you can't wear those jeans anywhere else other than New York City. But I guess with Web3 and with blockchain, it would make sense. You'd be able to transfer
anywhere
good across different platforms or cities, if you will,
and verification that things are real.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just it's unparalleled in terms of security too. So like major problem is like, for example, video games, like transferring items and stuff. It's always been frowned upon because it was so hard for a developer to create a secure system for that wasn't going to be abused. So that's why they never do it. because it's game breaking, very delicate economies, and if you start looping real money in, the incentive goes through the roof, and it becomes very, very, very terrifying for a game developer because it might kill their game, because then people will find a way to make it pay to win, and as soon as
Exactly.
a game becomes pay to win, it's death sentence in terms of just like scalability. It might stay where it is, but it's not growing. So
True.
that's the type of thing, like when people say, hey, do you wish that when you played WoW that there was actually mechanics for after the 85 days you put into your character you didn't want to play anymore, getting rid of it in a legal way where people who now that's valuable to somebody, that's valuable to a lot of people, but then they could buy it from you in Bitcoin or something, and that thing you put into it is actually worth something. Wouldn't that be great? I was like, that would be great. And he goes, that is potentially viable with Web 3.0. Like that's something that could happen. Like your digital items then gain real value in the world to people.
I like the idea of it, but I feel like in practice, I've always liked the idea of even just like a battle pass or a item shop. But like, I don't know if this is, maybe I'm just old school, like old opinion here. I really hate when you can buy something that looks cool and you didn't earn it. That just bothers me in a game for some reason, because like to some extent it feels like the world should operate that way, right? Like if you have something nice or you have a nice house or car or whatever, it's like that person earned that and they get to show that off, like they put in the time to get that, theoretically. So when you do that in a game, it's like, oh wow, that person has, like, I can't think of an amazing thing they earned. Oh, Ashes of Alar is a great mount example in WoW. Ashes of Alar was like this golden phoenix that was like a less than a 0.1% drop chance on a raid that you had a lockout on every week. So you had to grind the hell out of it. It was like unbelievable. And then they made a purple version and just, it was
ruin
like $10.
The value of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And just, it just killed the value of the other thing. And it's not that I'm like, oh, I'm like a crypto bro. Like I want to hold on to this because it's got so much value. It's just a cool badge of honor and it makes it worth something. So when you sell something like a reskin, I just hate it. I don't really like item shops.
Now that okay, so it's a very capitalistic thing too, right, dude? Like the web 1.0 and 2.0 was all built around capitalism. So there's going to be an element of like, like you can make the case too. Someone buys a nice car, they didn't build the car.
True.
They bought the car finished the same way as someone else grinded that out. If you wanted to make it something like where you take away that flexibility with it, like if you bought an account with that, you can't change the name of the account or something. So therefore, you were stuck with that name. That is the trade-off with going to buy it. Like that kind of thing would literally deter that thing you just said in terms of people just buying everything because they have the money to do it. But at the same time, if your goal is to get the money, then it's worth it. So it's all about what you're valuing. And that's why it's scary. People are like, oh, now everything's sellable. Like everything in the whole world, nothing's sacred. But like video game stuff isn't sacred, man. It's not there to be sacred. It's there because the platform doesn't exist to sell it. That's just, and we wish we could. Like the whole CS:GO skin gambling thing and all that. If that were, unfortunately, it makes lots of money, and it's a good way. It's a way to make like video gaming not necessarily a waste of time in the eyes of a lot of people too, or not purposeless. It could give another purpose for the reason to play video games. So it's interesting to me. I don't know why we went on a huge time. I just think that's a relevant thing to talk about because lots of games are going to be like, we are now going to the metaverse, which means like we are starting to phase in blockchain technology into the behind the scenes of our game. It's going to allow us to do a lot of different things inside the game now. So like one thing will be, I think one of the first things will be like, instead of you having to go to our website, buy our points, get the coins in the game and then use those coins to buy boxes, like we'll just be able to take Bitcoin inside the game or Ethereum inside the game. Like that'll be the first thing. Like you can link your wallet and now your wallet is attached to the game. You have that middleman's gone. There's no like PayPal thing going. Well, and that'll be the first thing that happens.
I think it's going to be this awkward transition of like they're going to take a crypto, but it's going to be a specific one because they have a partnership or license deal with that crypto, and it's going to be obnoxious.
It's going to be obnoxious, and it's going to be the same thing again.
Transfer your coins around. They're like, oh, cool. This is not easier. This is harder. I guess the only Ethereum based, but
the only benefit, the Ethereum will be the main one because it's the most affordable and the most affordable one that's also very strongly backed at the moment. Bitcoin is the strongest. the most widely. That's the one that like Bitcoin's like potentially 7.8 billion people could use this because its application is money. It's just money,
Yeah.
universal money. That's why Bitcoin was so exciting. Now there's just all these coins. I actually have a buddy. We just went to his wedding on Friday, and
Mhm.
we haven't caught up in a long time. But he day trades. He dabbling in day trading crypto kind of on the side. He's a programmer,
Really?
and he's very much like me. He's like, it's funny. His speeches were all about how he has phases in his life, and they're like, he was frat bro, Alex, and now he's, crypto Alex, right? And
Crypto bro, yeah.
he's a skill acquirer, and I'm very similar to that. And he was just like, I was like, okay, I got to get his opinion on these things. But he was just talking about it. He's like, yeah, dude, there's just too many things out there that don't have an application at all, like
Mhm.
at all. Like there's meme
Yeah.
coins that never intended to have anything. That's called gambling, guys. At this point, you were just trying to time the market,
Exactly. Exactly.
and it's based on someone tweeted about it or not.
Yeah, which if you have
That's it.
the disposable capital to do it, like whatever, but
It's not a great, yeah. There's going to be a lot of people that just make, they're really good at like measuring sentiment based on social media and
mhm.
communities. Like that's how big a lot of them are growing. But at the end of the day, that coin's not going to be used for anything. So if that's something that's important to you, like it's not the way to go. But
Oh
like, there's
yeah.
another one. Here's an example. I have one called Fetch.
A
It's
coin?
a Yeah, it's called Fetch.
Mhm.
And Fetch is going to be a protocol or a platform for. They're going to build a bunch of AI assistants. They're building a bunch of AI assistants, machine learning assistants to
Mhm.
automate tasks for businesses. So like
Mm.
if you have something that you're like an email system that you need to be a little bit more smart than one stock email, it needs to like make a choice which one needs to go based
Oh.
on the thing you're going. Like if you're doing an automated help system or something, and you
Yeah.
need a whole fact to like be reactive. So instead, they ask a question on an email, and then it auto emails them an answer to that based on the fact instead of sending them to the fact. It's like taking
Hmm.
away some friction to help for customer service. That's an example of an application. There's a
Yeah.
platform where they're building those things. They can build you one specifically for your business, and the way that you pay for it is through Fetch. So like if
Oh,
businesses are
okay.
then buying
Yeah.
them from each other, people are developing them on these old platform, or like like freelancers are making a bot for the company, and then they get a portion of the proceeds when it's sold, like things like that. So they're creating an open source platform like
Mm.
that you can create tools for businesses to use to help automate. So I'm like, cool. No, though that won't scale to the size of Bitcoin, so it's never going to be worth that much because everyone in the
Yeah.
world won't use it. There is a real life application that could potentially change the way that businesses are able to automate some of those, especially small businesses. I was just thinking for me, like
Yeah.
having
No, that's
some,
smart.
there's potentially an application for that for me. So I'm like, that's kind of what he told me. He was just like, dude, there's a lot of like pointless ones, and there's a lot of ones that
Oh,
are
yeah.
have some application that may or may not be popular at any point because you don't know if it's truly going to catch on or not. And then there's the big ones that are wildly obvious, like
Yeah.
Ethereum. Everyone buys NFTs in Ethereum, so Ethereum's going to keep going up. It just is.
Yeah. People are also like very dedicated and loyal to their crypto.
Yeah,
People
it's
are it's
definitely
like a
developed. I know what
team.
you're talking about. Crypto bro culture is definitely.
Yeah. Dude, like, oh yeah, like, oh man, I got all this ether, like it's the best. Or like Cardano sucks because whatever. It's like, why are you why are you doing this? Why it's not a team. You're not from the New York area. You got to vote for like the Giants. It's not.
It's just human nature, man.
It's unbelievable.
It like
It's like
it's like
tribalism.
tribalism. We get it. You become a hipster, and you think about hear about things so early, and then you want to be like, I knew about that before. And we just do that for everything. Everybody does. So of
Yeah.
course there's
Yeah.
like this huge, and then not only that, it's revolving around money, and people are making money very quickly. So it's like,
True.
I don't know. It's been heavily targeted by flex cultures. People who are into flexing tend to gravitate a little bit towards giving it a chance because there's a lot of like, how can I make a lot of money really fast mindsets out there.
Exactly.
Generally not the best strategy long term, but
Hmm.
you can dabble and figure it out a little bit early. You might be able to seed doing other things that you really enjoy. So like that's kind of what my buddy was talking about.
I
He's like,
see.
yes,
Okay.
I get it. There's like a assumption people make when I say I day trade crypto, but in reality, I'm just trying to get up to a certain amount of money because I would like to then develop valuable stuff, or participate maybe in higher level projects for like getting things funded and stuff. But you need money, and to start these things. And he goes, I think that I'm talented enough in this to make a nice little nest egg at the beginning. I'm like, that's a plan. You have a plan. I love that. Let's talk more about that. Anyway, I didn't know we were going to go down this crypto freaking rabbit hole, but how it goes to like gaming is like games are going to phase a lot of this stuff in. They just are. And it's not scary. I don't think. I think it's a good thing long term, but there's going to be a lot of mistakes made along the way for sure.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of phase charities that are going to pop up that are going to be issues. And that's actually, I mean, not to single them out. I mean, there's a lot of pump and dump schemes that have happened in the past and will continue to happen. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how, again, we have to get super into it, but how government regulation comes into it as well. And if that's going to change the game and what that's going to do. So
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But if you've been on a government website, you can guess that their understanding of how crypto works probably isn't the highest level, and the most talented people in the world do not want to work for the government. So it's all about highest bidder, and unless their government's going to start throwing oodles of money at people who know this stuff at a high level, then it's probably going to be, they're going to be playing catch up. But that's just kind of how it works. So buckle in, boys and girls, because there may be there could be an economic downturn at any time. Just because generally when these things happen and a lot of like bubbles form when there's a lot of like excess stuff that's never going to be successful attached to an idea that is overall going to be successful, right? So basically, when you get to a thing where something's really exciting, 99% of stuff fails, then those people who were given money to do that money disappears. See what I mean? A lot of people are kind of like, oh, that failed, and then they don't. Then you pull back into yourself. You stop spending money. Economy suffers for that, and that happens over months and years. But that could potentially be out there. I know that's doom and gloom, but like it's just kind of reality.
Thanks, Trev.
I mean, if you're not super exposed in those things, then it won't be the same way that the house market thing happened, because that was a whole other thing. Watch The Big Short if you haven't; it's great. But I would actually, if you don't mind, would love to like quickly left turn. I would love to hear, because Paul and I have not played as many games recently as I personally, and it's mostly on me, would like. But I want to hear, Paul, about what you got going right now, because I saw you on the Crown channel. You won yesterday.
I did.
We got Fight Night still happening on the Crown. Streaming wise, what do you like? How's it? What are you feeling right now? What games? Hey. What are you trying to accomplish here right now with the stream?
You know what, dude? Thanks for asking. I, with streaming in particular has definitely kind of suffered, to be completely transparent, because of Fight Night and the show that I'm doing there, which is good, and I'm glad I'm doing it. And it's a great foot in the door for hosting, because I really want to do that more and more. And I'm kind of doing more studying on it and watching people and just watching how they carry themselves and all this. I think it's super interesting. And the pandemic was uniquely positioned to allow me to get into this space without like fully committing. Like I could do it from my home, which was great. So stream isn't going poorly. I'm having a good time. Like I've just started playing with Eli, where we're playing a lot of Halo competitive, and that's a lot of fun. And I've discovered that I have the most fun gaming when I do it in a relatively competitive way, in which I have good communication with the person I'm playing with. Like when there's good chemistry and we're talking, I have the most fun doing that. I think chat has fun too, but I also tend to ignore chat more.
Yes.
It's tough, which is
same.
I feel
because you know that your people who are there every day.
Yeah.
The Tooths of the world. Shout out Tooth.
2 episodes like that.
That like I'm the same way. Like I've been dancing around like, do I want to like set an actual like, let's grind to let's try to get to a rank, like set a little like attainable goal here that won't take 2 months of grinding to get to, and see if we can do it.
Yeah,
like there's like that's an integral part of me, setting a goal, see if we can really reach it. And I'm competitive and I like playing, and I'm really enjoying Apex, and I'm actually really enjoying Halo too. That was such a blast the other day. It's just lining up to play again. I the only one that I'm even remotely willing to play is Apex solo. So like,
yeah, that's understandable.
Chat. I don't.
And you don't read chat. Exactly. Yeah.
So, like,
So it's
you have to, like,
good
set that expectation, I feel like, when you go in, right?
I think chat kind of knows. I think when I hit launch on the game, they're like, all right.
Okay, he's done talking to us for the most part.
All right. Yeah. No, I'll leave him up. But like, yeah, he's pretty much done. But I don't know. It seems necessary. I'm only human. I can only split myself in so many different directions and do so much. And I think the looming, it sounds terrible. It's gonna be my son or daughter. The baby that's coming in May is like
this
in the
dark
back
cloud over our heads.
this terrible parasite that's been growing in my wife is something I want to be conscious of. I want to make decisions for my family and what's going to best serve me now, but also especially in the future. And it feels like hosting is that thing. I love streaming. I've been doing it for 7.5 years. I really enjoy it, and I really love my community. I also have to be mindful of how can I age into, right? How can I age into the next stage of entertainment, of streaming, of content creation of my life? And what does that look like? How can I shift my priorities around? So when chat's like, oh, Paul's part-time streamer, it's like, I mean, kind of a little bit. Like, I don't have a lot of choices. Like, I don't know.
It's not like, it's funny because when you think about things like transitioning, it feels negative.
Yeah.
Right? It feels like it's a bad thing.
Does.
But in reality, like just the people who watch you are also going to be around your same age as well. Like, dude, I had this the other day. I had I always have epiphanies, but I had this realization. I popped open. I had Will Neff on the side.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if do you know who Will Neff is? Very much.
I've heard of him. I've heard you talk about him.
The 100 Thieves guy who did the ninja introduction when he got signed. He hangs out with Hassan all the time.
Oh, he does. Okay.
And so I just put up a stream because I'm like, I don't really know. Honestly, I've never watched him that much, and I was like, and everyone talks about how funny he is. He's doing the Nate Shot show now, and I think he has a G4 show. He's on
this dude
all the time. Attack of the Show. I think he's on that now. I think he's literally like one of the hosts.
That's sick.
So
that's really cool.
I pulled up a stream, and he's a lot of just chatting, but like he's got super strong opinions about chips. He's becoming the chip guy. So like potato chips, just like him and the Cowboys, and like it's one of his things. It's like one of those things, right? Chips. And he's like, everyone's like, no, these chips are better. Watch this video. And he's like, okay, whatever. He gets to like into it, and he goes, this guy, I'm gonna tell you whether or not this guy knows what he's talking about. And he's like, oh, he does. So he's like, I was like, okay, he's got his thing, chips. He's been talking about chips for half an hour, and like everyone in his chat is engaging him because he's so passionate about it. And then he's like, we're going to do a watch party. Let's watch a movie. And we watch Wes Anderson's Rushmore. I'd never seen it. I've seen a bunch of Wes Anderson movies. They're great. Rushmore's hilarious, by the way. You should watch it. But I'm like, I'm watching this movie this whole time. I'm like, dude, this guy's my type of content. Like, he's funny. And then I'm like, and then I had him up yesterday, and then someone asked him how old, I think Brooke AB did. Like, how old are you again?
Oh.
Will? And he's like, no, it was Fusely. And she goes, how old are you? He's like, that's a personal question. I'm 32. She goes, what? She goes, I thought you were like 27. And he's like, thank you. She goes, 29. He goes, you didn't need to say that. But I realized, I'm like, oh, we're the same exact age. That's why I like the things he says, because we agree. And he's like, likes all the same chips as me, and we like all the same stuff, and it's all nostalgia. And he's a big movie buff, and he tells amazing stories. So like, I was like, I'm gonna gift you a bunch of subs because I think that you would make great content. I think that's the best time to do it. So watching him, but then I had the realization that, oh my God, I like it because it's relevant to me. And as we get older, the number of people that are coming into Twitch as young kids, and if they're just we're not gonna be the people they come to unless we're playing something.
Not necessarily,
not as much. Like it's that's just the natural run of things. Like that's gonna get that flow of people that are younger than you are gonna get. The older you get, it's gonna get smaller and smaller and smaller. It's just the way it is. You get farther away from.
You're probably
like
right.
On TikTok where everyone's like, "Can you do the jerk?" And I'm like, "Dude, the jerk's like 10 years old, man." Like it's. The fact that you kids are like, oh, what is this song? I'm like, dude, the 2011 is when this came out. This isn't old. I can jerk easy. I'm about to be like, guys, like I was doing this and like I
Come
would have
on,
been a
yeah.
junior in college when this
Seriously.
song came out.
Trevor jerked last night. Like he
Yeah,
just
I jerk all the time. Jerk,
Yeah.
jerk, 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 jerk left, jerk right, jerk, in the bedroom, down in the kitchen, sometimes right in front of the TV in the living room. Everywhere. Backyard ones. Yeah.
backyard ones.
Right out there, right in the middle
My
of the
friend's
grass.
house with my friends
Lit some
sometimes.
candles, dude, and just
Yeah.
like
I'll do it together.
we-
It's great, great dance. It's a great dance. What were we talking about? The jerk? Yeah, no, you're right. Because
just
I'm
aging,
thinking
being older.
aging. Yeah, I was also just kind of thinking randomly because you're talking about Attack of the Show. I was young, quite young, but I also kind of like idolized like Kevin Pereira and Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb and like these kind of. I mean, when they did that show, they were probably like at best late 20s, right? Like early 30s. And I was like 18. I was like, oh man, it's so cool. Like I don't have a job and they do, and it's so much cooler than my job. So like I think that we still will attract some. I don't want to like sell ourselves short. Like I'm sure that we have some sort of likability to younger generations. Maybe not like 14-year-olds necessarily, unless you're like a Markiplier. But I think there's some. I think we have more than we think we do. I'm not saying you're wrong because it does shrink, but not to the great extents that I think it does. It's like I still have like, Shmoney he's like, how old is Shmoney? Like 13? I'm kidding. He's like 18.
Yeah, there's a few. We can think of some on the top of our head, and but it's just like what I'm saying is just the types of content. Like we get farther and farther away from just logging in and playing a game for 10 straight hours.
Yeah,
and the way that your experience with games it changes the older you get. Like you said, you're gonna have a child. It's just how it works. And that's okay. But the great thing is, and I realized this because I've done the last couple weeks, I've done a couple shows similar to the Fight Night. They weren't live, but like we did one. I recorded one on Monday with some incredible creators. And there's so much that's becoming more and more and more and more and more like like high level production for that kind of thing. Those shows like that is becoming more and more common, and we're getting experience doing that. So that's an option. But I think it would be great transition here. Just maybe getting into this a little bit before we take off. I mean, we're not going to go crazy long today, but just about content, maybe in that spirit, like you said, transitioning. But some of that stuff can be planned or stuff you're working on doing. And I myself have a couple things, especially in the last 24 to 48 hours, that I think that I've decided that I'm going to do.
Ooh.
And it might be years or like some point in the future, maybe not this definitely not going to be this off season for some of this stuff, but I want to start the process of like fleshing out the idea and have like, figuring out who would, what positions I would need, because it would be more than one person job, like just going bigger, a little bit bigger with stuff. And I've already had long conversation with my editor Marcos, but we're going to do it again later today and have more of a high level like content planning meeting because we want to take like YouTube channel stuff to the next level, a little bit more and a little bit higher production value, but also like stuff that's recorded only off stream and it's not just recycling Twitch stuff all the time and live stream stuff, because frankly, I don't stream as many hours as I used to do. And I can be more engaging when there's no one that I need to like respond to constantly as well for certain things. So,
like just no chat, nothing, just doing it. Just offline.
Like you can go, like, for example, the Donnie thing in the Minecraft server. Anyone who's watched me play that the other day, we played for 7 hours straight, knows that I'm going to be trying to do that project. I'm not going to be able to do it in even like 10 streams, probably. It's going to be huge. So I'm just going to kind of work on it more off stream and record it the whole time. We'll put a big macro video at the end of the whole thing, because that works for Minecraft. So like that is one way to do it. I can just veg out. I don't need to I can voice over it later too. I don't even need to talk while I'm recording it, while I'm building it. And then at the end, I can just voice over the footage we got and chop it up, and we can like go from there. So that's the type of thing. Go in the next level. I feel like a lot of it's just like recycling. That's what you and I do. That we just kind of recycle our stream footage.
Absolutely.
And I think that YouTube is something that is going to be long-term part of my quote unquote content portfolio, more so than being live. But here's a big but. Here's my big long-term project.
You do have a huge but,
yeah. Yes, I do. My big long-term project is anyone who is a sports fan, and I believe you know of this person as well, the Pat McAfee show.
Oh yeah.
I would like to completely rip that format off and do not rip his format off because he ripped his format
Yeah.
off from talk radio.
Yeah.
So just in his way, but I would like to do a Trevor May style show where we get in
Ooh.
and but we revolve it around baseball. But this is obviously going to
Mhm.
be probably when I'm done playing. But I
Ah.
would love to like get
Yeah.
it, broken down, maybe do some small versions of examples or like do one segment every once in a while for YouTube or
Yeah.
something. And then when I'm done officially and I announce that stuff, literally off to the ground running with
Oh
launch my
yeah.
own show where we go weekly and we do weekdays and we go in and we do like a freaking baseball and sports in general talk show mostly because his is sports in general. He does it year round, but it definitely revolves more around football because what he knows
Yeah.
most about. And the
Mhm.
people that are with him will do that as well. But I want to do a show like that. I
You have
feel
the
like
resources, you have the
I have the
time,
resources. I have the time. I would
you have
have
the
the space.
personality.
I
Yeah.
got the personality. I can lean a show. I can help plan it. I can produce it if I would like to. I could, I think I can carry a conversation or interview people fairly well. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna do it. It's gonna happen. I just don't know when or
Yeah.
how or where it's gonna be. If it's gonna be on YouTube live, or if it's gonna be, what's gonna happen there. I don't know, but I
Yeah.
do know that it's happening.
That's really
So
cool.
I think that was exciting as something to like a long-term goal to point myself at and see if there's opportunities to do that really well and how I would like to do it, how like family friendly I want it to be and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's kind of like those transitions that I'm thinking about making that make kind of being in front of the camera constantly and like
Mhm.
having to play games in front of the camera less important
Sure.
because of the
Yes,
thing you
that's
said earlier.
becoming less important
Hmm.
for sure, which sucks because people don't like change, and I get that. But it's less important for me to play games in front of people for 8 to 10 hours a day because there's other ways I can maximize my time. And I think that we're kind of finding that
Yeah.
more and more.
And also enjoying different versions or different
Yes,
types of content more and more too. So,
absolutely.
uh, so yeah, that's
I agree.
that was like a high level internal conversation I had recently, and I just was like, basically just said, Kate, I would love to like put this in the universe, like
Hmm.
been noodling it for a while. Let's just like
Yeah.
say, yes, it is going to happen. So maybe when that decision comes to like whether or not be done playing or not playing,
Yeah.
that like having that ready to go will influence that a little bit.
Dude, hell yeah. That'd be
Interesting.
exciting. I think it's good. I think the theme of the episode should be plan ahead a little bit. Think about what you want to do, where you want to be. Think about how you can get there. Make little steps and how you can get there.
Yeah.
Or do what I do and just, don't plan anything ever.
Or just pursue the things you like to do. I think I say that all the time, but like
That's a better way to put it.
just like you
Yeah.
are like, "Hey, I like this." Like the fact when you've done the cooking streams last or a few times, like I'm glad that I'm glad that you did that. I'm like glad that you tried it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's something you enjoyed, because maybe you're like, this is really freaking fun. I want
Super
to do this
freaking
all the
cool.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you'll have to kind of take a couple steps back in the viewership department and the engagement department, but you can build that community as well because it's just like it's not like everyone in your community is gonna be like, yes, I also like smoking this.
It's
This is
gonna
great.
it's
Smoked salmon's my favorite.
with with anything. If you add a new item to the menu, it's not gonna necessarily sell as well as your best selling item right off the bat.
Immediately,
But damn, let it build. Like give it some time, nurture it. If you love it, keep doing it.
Yeah,
For
water
sure.
it.
Exactly.
Water it.
Water.
Uh, I had one last thing that I wanted to touch on,
Touch it.
though I cannot. Oh, podcasts. So this is just an allusion to the future as well as we change this one a little bit up. And our goal is to be able to do this regularly as well without having to have so many different wheels and cogs moving in the background in order to make it successful. Just because of the nature of my job and the way, like, just so they can be as consistent as possible because we want to give you a product that you can or a piece of entertainment that you can count on, right?
Yes.
And we have talked about possibly doing smaller solo versions of a pod.
Mhm.
And that's something, again, I've also flushed out maybe in the baseball side of things. So that is my expertise. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I don't think that I can give the maximum value to that until I'm done playing. So, but there's a possibility that, I mean, I know we haven't you and I haven't set anything in stone or actually made any real decisions, but there's a chance that Paul and I could have an element of a solo show that goes alongside this one on maybe a specific topic that we care about. And we could be guests on our shows and like, bring each other on and stuff, but like that's a potential. We've thrown it around. We would love to know what you guys think of that. Obviously it depends on what we're talking about. But
please let us know what you think of all these different things that we're talking about and transitioning, and for being patient with us as we kind of refine the show into something that we like and we think is effective.
And I think that we have, like, Paul and I have a lot of things that parallel each other and we agree on, and then there's other things that like he's really topics that he really likes that aren't necessarily my thing, and vice versa. And so if we had our own opportunities to go and like really lock down something silly, like I've thrown around, for example, a YouTube series, because like I said the other day, I was talking about, I don't know if I actually said this on the show or if it was right before, but about the music theory. Like I was like, that's a topic that I know a lot about, and a lot of people don't know I know a lot about that.
That's a whole
And I realized there was a bunch of other things like that. I'm very much like, I've delved pretty deeply into a bunch of topics.
You're into weird shit,
things. Man. So I just kind of want to do like a YouTube series. Again, this is taking that like production quality up a bit, like shortening the video, going like 3.5-4 minutes, and then just like picking a subject, and then we put together some just ridiculous presentation of like Trevor's takes. Today we're talking about bidets, and just pictures of bidets pop up and then explosions, and then I like give the history of a bidet.
Exactly.
My first like, where was the first time the first time I ever used a bidet was and like
how did you feel?
Like almost like the best of the internet type, like a video that another YouTuber would watch on their stream, like that kind of thing, right?
And be that video.
I got like music theory. I know DJing. There's some certain skills that I could like. It'd be educational, but also hilarious at the same time. Just all kinds of dumb. Like I could do all kinds of baseball stuff, like throwing a curveball, and then like show how to throw a curveball and make it funny. Like I could do all kinds of stuff like that. So that's something I've thrown around. And then I was like, in that spirit, what would be a podcast version of that? And so again, noodling ideas, but
poor Marcos.
I just think that I think there's a lot of really fun stuff we can do that isn't necessarily like us going and playing Fortnite with Ninja and Lupo. Though I would love to, even though we were replaced straight up by Lupo, just replaced.
It's fine. We're over it.
We're fine. My heart feels fine.
We're okay. We're all right.
That hurt me. I'm hurt. I am deeply hurt.
You want to talk about that?
No, I'm going to say I'm hurt, and then I'll see if put that in the universe and see if anyone makes amends.
I'll be fine.
If you need my address to send a cashier's check, just DM me. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a PO box.
Money makes everything better.
Exactly.
So yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
we really got into it in this episode, and I feel like
crypto. That's got to be in the title.
All over the place. Yeah, I think the point is, to our listener, we're gonna talk about things that we want to freaking talk about, and we're gonna have guests on, and they're gonna be complimentary, more so than the point. And it's gonna be a good 2 to 3 person, maybe 4 person collaboration episode where we just like talk about what we care about. Think again, easy way to think of it is just chatting in the beginning of Twitch streams. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to
people, and I think some of the best content creator people that I like at the moment or have liked recently are like part of a group that collaborates a lot. That's just, and I'm like, wow, collaboration seems to be a big part of this.
Exactly.
And I think we enjoy doing it. We like it when the more people we have in a room that are shooting shit, the more fun we have. So
yes.
But we would love to hear, like, seriously, if you're like, hey guys, what do you guys think of, like, be Twitch chat before the show starts or before we record it, and just keep talking to us on Twitter, keep talking to us on all the social medias, and ask the questions in the comments, because we're going to be reading those things.
We love answering your questions, really do.
And it doesn't even need to be like an official AMA episode. Like, just whenever you feel like, oh, I wonder what Paul and Trevor think about this specific thing, just ask it, and maybe it'll make it in the show. We can address it. I think that'd be a great way to drive some of the content too, because at the end of the day, giving you guys opinions on things that you care about, because for whatever reason, sometimes people care about our opinions, but we would love to give you that.
Freaking would. I'm gonna give it to you, chat. I'm gonna give it to you
in the backyard. Even we'll give it to you
in the living room with friends.
Give it to you whenever you want it. Just ask. Here it is.
Oh gosh, you want to take us out or should I?
Take us to the promised land, brother.
I'm freaking taking us. I'm gonna take us. Thank you so much for listening. This has been the May Contain Action podcast. You can listen on all major carriers of podcasts, including Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, SoundCloud, and everywhere friggin' else you can ever find a podcast ever. My name was Paul, aka Action Jackson. My co-host was I am Trevor May. We'll see you on the next episode. Shout out to G Fuel for sponsoring this last episode. MCA, gfuel.com.
MCA out. Night night.